Good morning. Hey y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I have been fighting with Facebook to get on live with you all since 7 o'clock. We tested out 6:45. That might have been too early for some folk. Now I'm testing out 7 o'clock. 7:15 is too late. But I've been trying to get on since 7 o'clock. Facebook has been tripping, or it could be my internet. It really could be my internet. Anyway, good morning, y'all. Welcome to Morning Devotion with Pastor Jew. Welcome to Morning Devotion with Pastor Jew. As you all come on in, tap, tap, heart, love, share out with your followers, like, share, tag someone, give us lots of hearts, give us lots of stars, all the things. The way the algorithm knows that this is a worthy live broadcast to share out is by your actions. So comment, tag, like, share, heart love, tap, 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 heart love. Give us some stars, all the things, and the algorithm then knows what to do. So, welcome to Morning Devotion with Pastor Jew again. Sorry, we're on a little later than normal. I am testing out a different time, so we tested out 6:45. I think that was a little too early for some folk, and now I'm testing out 7 a.m. That seemed to get a better time for people. Um, and But this morning, the internet, Facebook, both of them were giving me a hard time. So we started at 7:10. My bad. Sorry for that. I shouldn't say my bad. It wasn't on me, but sorry for that. So let's get right into it because we don't have a whole lot of time, and I want to get into the work. Good morning, Letha. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Because I think once I see a time that works for everybody or a good time for a good rhythm, then we're gonna put out. We're gonna make it like an event time, so that way you'll see the notifications and all that a lot better. So as you all come on in, tap tap, heart, love, shout out your followers, like, share, put somebody's name in the chat, all the things. Okay, so thank you, Yvette. Appreciate you. Make sure you share. Make sure you give us heart, love, and stars and all the things, right? Because it lets the algorithm know what to do. So let's get into it. So we have been talking all week about the shaking. We started out at the top of the week talking about the shaking. Good morning, Anna. And we've been talking about the shaking, and one of the things we've been looking at, lose my train of thought. We've been looking at Acts chapter 16. Acts 16. I'm sorry. I just kind of went blank there for a second. Acts chapter 16 is where we've been hanging out all week. Okay, and if you missed any of the past broadcasts, just scroll back, or you can go to our YouTube page, and there we have um, a playlist for all of our devotionals. So if you miss anything, you can always go back. But it's always nicer when it's live and we're in it together. So I love to encourage everyone to be present with us when we go live. So Acts 16, we've been looking at starting at verse 25, where it says, "And at midnight, Paul and Silas were praying, and God responds to their prayer and their praise with a violent quaking." And we've been saying that we've been calling a shaking. There will be a shaking, right? There will be some things that will be shaken up, shaken out, shaken loose. There will be a shaking. We said this in church last Sunday and the Sunday before last, right? So we are in this season talking about this shaking, and we're going to look at other scriptures as we get into next week that deal with shaking. Um, and so, but one of the things that I want to draw to your attention as relates to this text and this particular narrative, because part of what happens in the shaking, we know that the chains are loosed, right? We talked about how people connected to you will be blessed. Those that are in your sphere of influence will be blessed because of what you're doing in the midst of the moment, right? Because you're praying and praising in the moment. The prisoners were listening. We talked about the prisoners listening, and those that were listening, their chains also came off. And then we know that in response to the shaking, the jailer, when he wakes up from the earthquake and realizes that all of the prisoners' chains have been loosed, he is highly concerned. He is very concerned. Thank you, Anna. God bless you. He is concerned that they left. They ran out, and he gets ready to kill himself. And Paul and Silas like, no, no, no. You don't have to kill yourself. We stayed. We stayed in our integrity. We were integral. We didn't leave, and so you don't have to kill yourself. So two things I want to get into, and we may only have time for one. Two things I want to get into: the jailer about to attempt suicide, and the fact that Paul and Silas and the other prisoners did not leave. They remained in integrity. We're going to talk about integrity. We might start Monday on integrity. Integrity in the midst of the moment. But yeah, I think we're going to do that on Monday because we can give it our full time. But check this out. You have to ask yourself a question. Why was the jailer going to kill himself? So we got to go above verse 23 and go to verse 24. Verse 23 and 24, it says, after they had been severely flogged, this is Paul and Silas, they were thrown into prison, and the jailer was commanded to guard them carefully. When he received his orders, he put them in the inner cell and fastened their feet in stocks. Now, the jailer had one job. Everybody just put in the chat one job. He had one job, and his job was to guard them carefully. This is going to bless somebody. Y'all, please share this with somebody. I need all 7 of y'all to share this with somebody because it's going to bless somebody. You have to ask yourself the question, why did the jailer want to kill himself when he thought Paul and Silas were gone and the rest of the prisoners? He had one job, and that was to guard them carefully. I promise you, you might throw your phone at this one. He had one job, to guard them carefully. Why does he need to guard them carefully? What is it that they know about Paul and Silas that he is commanded, guard them carefully? What is different? What is so different about Paul and Silas that he is commanded, guard them carefully? And don't just guard them carefully, stick them in the inner cell. That means take them to the bottom of the prison where there's no way for them to escape. Listen, this is for anointed people. This is for those of you that are children of the Most High God, and the enemy recognizes there's something different about you. See, there were other prisoners, but the guard wasn't given charge to guard them carefully. They are given this, he's given this assignment because they recognize, let me say it this way, the enemy knows who you are. The challenge is, do you know who you are? The enemy knows who you are. Anointed, child of God, favored, blessed. And do you know who you are? And because the enemy knows who Paul and Silas are, that these are not just regular, these are not, first of all, they're not criminals, but these are not just men. These are men of God, and it's been evident in how they've been flowing and moving up to now. And so the jailer is commanded, guard them carefully. Watch them too. You stand guard, and so much so put them in the inner cell, make it harder than it could ever be for them to get out. Be very clear, the enemy knows who you are. Do you know who you are? Do you know that you make the enemy nervous? When you start praying, when you start showing up, when you wake up, that's when hell gets nervous. And so they have an opportunity to capture the men of God, and see, they see, listen, come on, John. He had one job, guard them carefully. Be very clear. Listen, what I'm about to say right now is not to scare you. It is to awaken you. There are demons who've been assigned to watch you. There are demons, witches, warlocks, imps, who have been assigned to watch you, who've been assigned to watch you, to keep you in, to do what they can to keep you in bondage, to do what they can to keep you down, there have been demons assigned to keep you oppressed. Because if you ever break free of that depression, if you ever get out that toxic relationship, if you ever awake, if you ever get free, if the shackles come off your mind and you dream great dreams, if the shackles come off your mouth and you preach anointed sermons like you're supposed to preach, if the shackles come off your heart and you love God's people the way God called you to love God's people, if the shackles come off your hands and you start writing the books and writing the plays and writing the movies and writing the songs, if the shackles come off your feet and you go where God says go, you are a threat to demonic forces. They beat Paul and Silas, flogged them, and then put them in prison and told the guard, watch them. Be very clear, there have been demons assigned to watch you, so you don't come out. You want to know why it's hard for you to come out? Because the enemy don't want you to come out. Yes, there is a demonic force. You ever feel like what's in? Yes, there are demonic forces assigned to make sure you don't come out. Forces assigned to make sure you don't come out. They got you. They got you in the relationship. Now do what we can so she don't ever break free from that toxic. Do what you can so he don't ever get out of that. There have been demons assigned to watch you, to make sure you don't ever come out. So you don't ever come out of financial challenge. Don't ever come out of toxic relationships. Don't ever come out of low self-esteem. Don't you ever come out. Yes, so if you've been saying, this is hard. Yes, there have been demons assigned to watch you. Imps, witches, warlocks, assigned to guard you so you don't ever get free. So you don't come out. So you don't break out of this. Anna, this is why we keep ministering to you. Because you got to come out of that depression. You got to come out of that weight. You got to move with the joy of the Lord. This is why God don't want y'all happy. This is why God doesn't want you full of the joy. Why? Because the joy of the Lord will be your strength. So think it not strange when you go through something and it feels so hard to come out. There have been demons assigned to watch you. I need more of y'all to share this out. Somebody needs to know. Witches and warlocks who have and they got one job to watch you. They got one job. To watch you, to guard you, to make sure you don't come out. Just sit with that for a minute. That's why, come on, you got to move with the joy of the Lord. That's why in the midst of difficulty, and it feels like you're you're going through it, and it feels like life is beating you up, and it feels hard to break through. Yeah, because there have been demons inside to watch you, to make sure you don't ever bust through. But don't punch your phone or your computer. I want you to break nothing. But make up in your mind you're gonna break through. Watch me if you dare. What you gonna watch? If you dare watch me, what you gonna watch is me bust out. What you gonna watch? Because watch me. I dare you to watch me, because the only thing you're going to watch is me break through. He had one job, to guard them, to make sure they don't get out. And there have been demons assigned to make sure you don't come out, mind, body, soul, spirit, financially, relationally, psychologically. There have been demons assigned to guard you, to keep you in it, to keep you down, to keep you suffering, to keep you going through it, to keep you oppressed, to keep you depressed, to keep you under the gun, to keep you feeling like you drowning every day. There have been demons assigned to watch you, to guard you. But you got to decide, I'm going to do everything I can to bust out. You will watch me pop out. Come on. All they can do is work because they're powerless when your faith is working. Come on. Absolutely, John. So this is why the jailer, when he wakes up from the earthquake and recognizes all the chains are free, he gets ready to kill himself because he had one job and he failed at his job. Listen, here's your word for today. You living your life free, when you live your life free in this next season, these last 2 months of 2025, and you live your life free, you are literally, watch this, putting demons out of business. You are putting them out of business. You're getting them fired from their job. You're causing the enemy to fail once again. When you live free, when you get free, this is why every Friday I say get free, live free, stay free. Because when you get free, you're literally putting that demon assigned to guard you out of a job. He had one job and he failed. Some of y'all this morning, the enemy had one job to take you out yesterday and they couldn't take you out. And so here you are living with your free self on a Friday. And so they failed at their job. Many of you are living, walking, breathing testimonies of the enemy failing at their one job, which was to guard you and keep you down, keep you under, keep you in bondage. Oh, but there was a shaking. Oh, but there was a shaking. See, believers don't have to be afraid of shaking, because the shaking is for the benefit of those who are being oppressed, depressed, in bondage. The shaking was for the benefit of. So listen, when we say there will be a shaking, this is not to be afraid. This is to be prepared and know God is going to shake things up. But it's for the benefit of those who've been oppressed, benefit of those who have been in bondage, the benefit of those who the enemy keeps trying to hold down. You can't hold me down when I know God. You can't hold me down when I know God. You can't keep me down when I know God. You can't keep me in the inner chambers of the prison when I know God. God will cause an earthquake and everybody coming out. You can't hold me down when I know God. And more importantly, God knows my name. If he says, give Najuma everything she wants. Listen, if the Lord spoke today and said, give Najuma everything she wants, everybody would have to give me what I asked for. Do you understand who you are? Do you know who you are? If God spoke into the atmosphere right now and said, give Najuma everything she wants, everybody have to give me what I wanted. I'd walk in district, I want a car, and they say, yes, ma'am, because we got to give you what God said. You can't hold me down when I know God. Come on. That might be another t-shirt. That might be our next t-shirt event. You can't hold me down when I know God. Acts 16:25. Or actually 16:26. That's what the earthquake is. In Acts 16:26. You can't hold me down when I know God. And more importantly, when God knows me. Come on, Letha. And so the guard had one job and he failed at his job. He failed his job. Because the reality was he was no match for God. He couldn't stop God from doing what God was going to do. No demon in hell can stop what God is going to do. And God was determined to respond to Paul and Silas's prayer and praise. And so that poor little jailer was no match for God. Them witches and warlocks ain't no match for what God is going to do in life. Them imps ain't no match for God. That demon in the White House right now ain't no match for God. And when God moves, guess what? When God does the shaking, that demon gonna have to bow down too. And all the imps. That demon, listen, when things get to shaking, because we said there's going to be a shaking, and when things get to shaking, even that demon in the White House will have to bow down. No match for what the Lord's going to do. So there will be a shaking. There will be a shaking. There will be a shaking. But the shaking is for the benefit of those who are being held in deep oppression, bondage, injustice, marginalization, illegal activity, illegal was injustice, illegal action, I should say. Those who are being held down by a systematic racism, there will be a shaking. And the shaking is to shake all that up. Shake it up, shake it out, shake it through for the benefit of those who are victims, for the benefit of those who are being held down by the system and systematic stuff. And those who do works of iniquity, workers of iniquity. There will be a shaking. And the shaking was to prove it didn't matter where you put Paul and Silas. You put them in the bottom of the jail if you want to. You can't stop God, what God gonna do for his own. The shaking was to prove it didn't matter if you had a guard and a locked door and the innermost parts of the prison. You can't stop God. You can't stop what God's gonna do. Come on, they become believers too, and that's what happens. At least if you keep reading Acts 16, the jailer and his whole house got saved. Amen. And so we don't get afraid when we know that demons have been assigned to guard us. That's when we start praying and praising all the more. That's when we start crying out to God all the more. That's when we start lifting up our hands all the more and telling the people who the Lord is. Watch me if you want to, and you will watch me bust out. Keep your eye on me. You're going to keep watch me come through it all. Amen. But the jailer had one job, and he failed, because you can't stop God. You can't stop the move of God in my life. You can't stop the move of God in my life. And so while there have been demons assigned to watch and to guard, they are powerless to a God who can speak and the ground will shake. The enemy is powerless to a God who can blow and the ground will shake and everybody will get free. Everybody will get free. So y'all have an amazing Freedom Friday. It's a Freedom Friday. Get free, stay free. Get free, live free, stay free. And those imps and demons which is assigned to guard you are no match for when God starts shaking things up. Are no match for when God, the structure, the infrastructure of the prison was no match for when God started shaking things up. No match. The chains were no match for when God started shaking things up. The jailer and his sword and all that he all his brawn was no match for when God started shaking things up. So you ought to tell your neighbor, listen, it's gonna be a shaking. It's gonna be a shaking. But we gonna be all right. God's gotta shake them things up. But the shaking is gonna be our blessing. The shaking is gonna be our blessing. Put that in the chat. The shaking is gonna be our blessing. The shaking is gonna be our blessing. I need about 4 more of y'all to share this out with somebody. The shaking is gonna be our blessing. But the jailer had one job and he couldn't do it. Now, when we come back on Monday, we're going to talk about integrity. The integrity of the believer. Because integrity plays a big part in this text, in this story. We'll talk about integrity on Monday. All right? But on Sunday, y'all should come to church on Sunday. Pastor's back preaching. I'm back. Preaching on Sunday. I'm back. I took my break all October. God bless Pastor Charles Dorsey, who hung out with us and did Bible study. Allowed me to just kind of refresh a little bit, but I'm back. And we preaching out of Mark 16 on Sunday. Preaching out of Mark 16 on Sunday. So, I keep saying Mark 16, Acts 16. Why do you say Mark 16? I need to go read Mark 16 and see what it says. Acts 16. Let me go read Acts 16. Preaching out of this text on Sunday. Because we're gonna finish, we're gonna be in this next week. We pulling this story, this narrative apart piece by piece by piece. And if you missed any of the past two devotionals, I believe Beth put in the chat the link to our YouTube page. All right? Peace. Y'all be blessed. Be blessed. And know that the shaking is going to be to our blessing. The shaking is going to be for our blessing. And those who've been assigned to guard you are no match for what God's going to do for you. Those assigned to guard you, those enemies assigned to guard you are no match for what God's going to do for you. Peace, y'all.